gentlemen, and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is the Stage 3 finale of the Bramley Moor project. Now, this isn't officially Stage 3's finale. I do believe Everton's still got a few more little bits to do before they go into Stage 4, but I'm going to be calling it for this, so we can move on to Stage 4, because this would be the 17th part if it wasn't called the finale. But I digress, let's get into it. So looking over on the east stand, we can see a little bit of a change from last week to this week. We are up to the 3rd level now over on the east stand, and if I'm not mistaken, it's actually really close to becoming level with the corner pieces either side. There is also some rebar around the site, so you will notice it like laid out over the floor. Now, if you aren't familiar with what the purpose of this is, if you check over on Everton's page, they have got a video talking about it. So what essentially they're doing is it's laying the foundation out so that they can put cement or concrete over that area itself to try and reinforce it, because if you just put straight out cement or concrete, it's not as secure as when you have rebar interlined in it. It makes it a lot more stable if anything is to expand, contract, crack or fracture over the course of time. The rebar sort of helps it keep in place. So that's the main reason why you got rebar in there, and that's my one little lesson for you today if you didn't know that. But yeah, looking over on the south stand, you can notice there is a little bit of change and everything here there. So they are getting themselves ready to start putting the roof trusses in for the south stand. Now apparently with the south stand it is going to be a rather big lift to get it on. So they've got to coordinate all of the smaller cranes to actually get it onto the thing. But you've probably already noticed now on the north stand, they have actually started it. So you can see that on the north stand, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to focus on the south stand for now, because everything there is just coming along. So actually, you've just noticed now, there is a little bit of paneling going together as well on the corners of the south stands. I'm not sure whether they were there last week, but they are definitely sticking out to me this week because of the way they're just sitting out there. They're just waving at me almost hypothetically. But yeah. You can also see a little bit of rebar inside the upper parts of the south stand as well. So I'm assuming those little bits of rebar will be getting put into different areas. Also, one thing as well, so if you actually look, you can see I believe they call them the comb pillars. Don't quote me on that one, I'm not too sure. So the stepping looking pillar pieces, you can see them on the east and west stand. So it looks like they're going to be getting ready to put the seating and everything in around there. So that's one to look forward to in the near future. Now they're probably going to be doing that alongside when the roof is coming together. So chances are the south stand and north stand are just going to be ahead of the curve by a significant amount for the development. So what will probably happen, you'll see north, south getting done, then east and west will get done later on down the line. I would probably push to say it'll be like a 3-month delay in regards to development for the east and west stand, just because the east stand in particular, that's focused solely on transport as well. So when they need to get in and out of sight, there is actually a large hole in the east stand that they can use to actually get through. Now looking on the west stand, I've got this video zoomed in. Apologies about that. So the video itself is actually zoomed in, and you can actually see inside quite well. So you can see the staircase again going up around the corners, so that's probably going to be one of the ticketing areas where you can actually get in. So you can actually see quite well into there actually. And looking over on the west stand, underground, well, under all of the stuff, and you can actually even see the rebar there. So if you look on the top of the west stand, you can actually see the rebar laid across. So there's going to be concrete getting poured onto that at a later date, and that will help secure that part of the area, because that's going to be quite a heavy one, and it's definitely going to be one that needs a lot of structural support, not only with the concrete pillars and everything like that, but also with that sort of stuff. But looking over the site, everything is just looking great, and it's definitely coming along. Now there is one thing to discuss. I know Lango Rick and Everton have actually mentioned to us we need to stick to certain time frames and everything, but this is a very, very difficult task to try and accomplish. And let's say for argument's sake, right, like this weekend, the weather's been decent Saturday and it's been absolutely horrific Sunday. I've been able to do this on Sunday, which I'm fortunate enough that I was able to do. And the allotted time slot though, it wouldn't have been possible just because of the heavy winds and rain made it near impossible for us to actually get on the site today. So we had to do it later on in the day. And as you can probably see, there is activity in the site, so we've taken extra precaution to try and stay as far away from the site as physically possible without affecting the video too much. Now, one thing was mentioned to us, apparently our operating of the drones is very distracting for the workers on site. Now, I would like to call this one into question for your main ground staff, because the cranes I can understand because we're a little bit close to the cranes, but the general ground staff, it should be near enough impossible to see this drone unless you are actively looking for it. Likewise with the noise, because on that site today, they were working on the supporting structure, well, the roof trusses, so to say, and they were actively using ratchet guns to try and actually put everything into place. And I couldn't even hear my drone hovering 30 meters above my head when those ratchet guns were in action. So for them to actively see and hear would be rather far-fetched. Now, I'm going to get quickly back onto the north stand so you can actually see where the roof stuff is coming into place, and you can actually see the arch. So the second one is down there, so it looks like they're actually putting it together. It's going to either be 2 or 3 pieces, so chances are this second one is going to be off to the side, and then you're going to have a little piece in the middle that's going to meet them and join them together. So that's one to really look forward to in the future. So everything around the site is pretty much just ticking along as usual. The roof trusses were meant to start getting put up, I believe it was actually this Monday. But due to the weather actually falling into their hands and everything becoming rather favourable for them, they thought that they would be best doing it now rather than later, because the weather is going to probably make a rather nasty turn. But in all honesty, everything is just working out great. I'm going to just like to say thank you very much for watching. It's been great being able to do this, and I look forward to continue doing this in the future. So I would like everyone to take care, have a lovely week, and we'll see you for next week, where we're going to carry on with our lovely drone flyover of Bramley Moor. Take care and peace. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also, I'd like to say a massive thank you to all my Patreons. Now, just as a heads up, the Patreon is closing at the end of this month. So just as a heads up, if you want to continue supporting the channel, go over to YouTube and become a part of the School Science Superfan membership or the Cup of Coffee tier membership. Now, there are 2 different tiers. The first one being the Cup of Coffee tier. That is essentially like reaching into your pocket, getting £1 and saying, Luke, I like what you're doing. Here's £1 on me. Go get yourself a cup of coffee. That is essentially it. There's no real perks or benefits or anything along those lines. However, the £3 School Science Superfan tier, that does give you early access to the Bramley Moor footage, ad-free content, your name in the sidebar, and a couple of other bits and bobs which have just slipped my mind. I do apologise. Also, just as a quick one, so what's going to happen from stage 4 onwards? This is very important. It's no longer going to be it's no longer going to be the Bramley Moor project. It's going to be named the Everton Stadium update. So just Everton Stadium update, and it's going to still have its stage name. So stage 4, point 0, point 1, point 2, point 3, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be like that still. It's just going to be going from the Bramley Moor project to the Everton Stadium update. So it's just to coincide with everything else, because I would love for the stadium to be called the Bramley Moor Stadium, but according to Everton, it's not going to be called that. It's going to be whatever takes up the sponsorship. So let's say, for argument's sake, Pepsi took over the stadium. It will be called the Pepsi Stadium. I do not like that. I personally would rather someone like Everton in the community, if they had the revenue behind them, to get it and call it the Everton Stadium. Or if they get name and rights, they might turn around and say, you know what, we're going to buy the rights, but we want it to be called the Everton Stadium or the Bramley Moor Stadium, yada, yada, yada. You know the gist of it. I would like it for it to be called the Bramley Moor Stadium, but unfortunately, it's probably not going to be called that. We do not know what it's going to be called. I mean, at one point, it was going to be the USM Stadium before shit went sideways. But yeah, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, guys, and I'm going to see you all in the next video. So, peace.